Hello, everyone. Welcome. Good to see some familiar faces.
Hello, hello. I can't get my earbuds.
I like that light behind you, Dwayne. That's really nice.
Yeah, it's not my house. It's a wood drift that they put up at this house I'm staying at for the weekend.
It's nice. I like it. Hello, everyone. We're just opening the meeting and letting all of the people find their way in. Thank you for joining us today. We'll get started probably at 2 after, just to allow the folks who are sliding in from earlier meetings or trying to get their technology together. We have to allow a little grace sometimes at the top of the meeting. I hope everyone's doing well today. And hopefully you were able to get some of this good sunshine on your face for this beautiful fall day. Although I read something about winter in Chicago, I know I probably shouldn't even talk about it, but I heard that we're going to have a cold one. That's what all of the people are saying. So get
Well,
your
at least you heard cold. If you'd heard mild, I'd have been worried. So cold means they don't know what you're talking about. So it's just up in the air. Anyone can say winter's going to be cold.
colder than normal. Let me
Okay.
be even more specific. Colder than normal. All right, people are still coming into the meeting. Welcome, everyone. It's good to see your faces. Thank you for being here on time. We're going to get going at about 12:02, just allowing for more people to join us. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We're going to give people one more minute to get in here, and then we're going to get going. So if you know someone that's supposed to be in this room, this is the time to text them and say, "Where you at? Get on in here." All right, the time is now 12:02. We're going to get going so that we can be respectful of everyone's time. Welcome, everyone, to our first ever Digital Equity Impact Small Grants Program informational webinar, the very first one. So consider yourselves in good company and part of history as we kick off something that we've been working on internally at the county since I got there in 2022. And I'm happy that you are a part of it and are here to share in this experience together. We're going to go ahead and share our PowerPoint so that we can have a guided discussion. And let me get to it. All right. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes. Yes.
Awesome. Come on, technology. Be with me today for sure. Great. Again, my name is Kyla Williams Tate. I am the Director of Digital Equity for Cook County Government in the office of President Tony Pretwinkle. I consider it an honor and a privilege to lead this digital equity work for the county, with the county, besides the county, as we are trying to advance digital equity in our areas, our places and spaces that we reside and work, play, and all those other wonderful things. I'm so happy that you are here to join us today to learn more about our small grants program. And we hope to be able to answer all your questions. And we are so excited and anticipating the applications that are going to come in for this moment. I'm going to start this webinar with a quote. Storytelling unlocks the full potential of digital equity, transforming access into empowerment, confidence into courage, safety into assurance, and infrastructure into a foundation for boundless innovation and growth. That is a quote that I created that really talks about our work here in Cook County with our partners as we are advancing digital equity together. And if you are familiar with our digital equity action plan, and I know that there are some folks in this call, this webinar that are, you will know that access, confidence, safety, and infrastructure are our four cornerstones that drive our work. I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Mauricio Jimenez, who will take us through the agenda, and then we'll move into a round of introductions.
Good afternoon, everyone. Here is our agenda and an overview of what we're looking to cover in today's webinar. We will start off with some introductions so everyone can get to know one another and to give our project team a chance to introduce themselves. We'll cover what we hope to accomplish and our objectives, who's eligible to apply, the opportunity and the two levels of grants, that's Boost and Empowerment, and we'll walk through the application and give some key dates to keep in mind.
Thanks, Mauricio. We're going to turn this over to our colleague at City Bureau, Tyra.
Thank you, Kyla. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Tyra. I'm with City Bureau, as Kyla mentioned. And as we kick off introductions, I really just want to take a moment and say that throughout this conversation and in this grant program, community building is really core to all of this. And this is a space for that as well. We're all here because we're interested in enacting positive change, and our work is strongest when we're in conversation with each other. So we're really excited to give you a space in the chat to introduce yourselves with your name, your pronouns, organization, and a 7-word story on how digital access has impacted your life or community. I'm happy to kick us off. My name is Tyra Bosnick. I use she, her pronouns. I work with City Bureau as the lead development writer. And my 7-word story is with digital access, I'm able to think big creatively and professionally. So I'll popcorn it over to people on our project team to keep the introductions going, and we'll be looking at the chat to see about all of you. Mauricio, you just gave us a run through of the agenda. We'd love to give you a chance to do a quick intro.
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. My name is Mauricio Jimenez. My pronouns are he, him. I am the Digital Equity Coordinator. I work alongside Kyla Williams State here in the Office of the President, Tony Preckwinkle at the Cook County Government. For me, digital access is major and has impacted my life greatly. When I first joined the county, I remember Kyla asking me, what is my digital equity story? And I thought, it's like a full circle moment here. Here we are learning about everyone else's digital equity story. Being new to the county, I thought it was so crucial that digital equity be talked about because so many people don't know the work that is involved and how transformative the work really is. But with that being said, Kyla, if you would like to introduce yourself.
Thank you, Mauricio. Again, I'm Kyla Williams Tate, Director of Digital Equity at Cook County Government in the Office of President Tony Preckwinkle. And when I introduce myself, I use that full title, and people always say, like, why? And I think it's important to acknowledge and identify that I sit in the Office of the President, which means that the president of Cook County has prioritized digital equity. If you are not speaking, we're asking you to please mute your mic so that we can be cognizant of the speakers. So being in the president's office and certainly having access to the resources in the president's office, all of the thought leadership is an important role for our county. It demonstrates that she has again prioritized this as part of her policy, and that is an important thing for our county. And there's not many other counties where the digital equity or digital opportunity or broadband team sits right at the top with the leadership. So we are special in that regard here in Cook County. And I would say that my 7-word story would be technology is the key to increasing power. Power can be defined however you want to: power economically, power socially, power in many other realms. But I believe that technology is the key to increasing power. Mauricio, are there any other 7-word stories that we want to highlight?
One note, and thanks for organizing this today. I don't know if the chat is enabled. I'm getting a chat is only available during the meeting. I don't know if others are seeing that, but this is Ryan. I represent the Record North Shore, but just wanted to let you know that.
Hi, Ryan. Thanks for letting us know that. Mauricio, check to see where we are with our chat. We checked our technology, but always
It's all good. Yeah, no, I know that
you
it's
know how
always
it goes.
asking technology to be our friend, but just thought I'd
Yes,
let you know if others are
thank
experiencing.
you. Thank you. I appreciate that. What's your 7-word story since you unmuted yourself, Ryan?
I put myself on the spot. My 7-word story with digital access are, I don't know, I have Spider-Man on my mind today. With great power comes great responsibility, and the need to kind of, I don't know if it's 7 words, but just how, digital access is on all of us to enable for each of our communities. And it has become such a table stakes opportunity that so many people, lack, which is just such a shame in today's world. Grateful for the opportunity to be here today. My name is Ryan Osborne. I'm the Director of Development at a nonprofit newsroom in the northern suburbs called the Record Community News Group.
Awesome. Thank you. And we appreciate you being here. Since we're working on our chat issue, if anyone else wants to unmic and share, we would love to hear from you.
I will. My name's Terry Winfrey. I'm with the Chicago Southland Chamber of Commerce, and my pronouns are she, hers. And my, I guess you call it 7 words, I would say this digital equity is so important for those of us here in the Chicago Southland Chamber of Commerce that we're having an event tomorrow, and we have a panel that's focusing on generations of digital equity because we're showing how youth are affected, grade school, college students, adults looking into the workplace. It goes across the generations into the seniors who are trying to navigate things as well. So it's hugely important for us, and it does definitely affects the business community. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Terry. We appreciate that. And thank you for sharing information about that event. Is that something that's open to the public?
It is. It's open to the public. It's tomorrow morning. When the chat works, I can put the information in there. And on the call today, Janelle Hooper, who is a digital navigator, is going to be on the panel. But more importantly, she's part of our team now. So that's another thing that we take it important. She's American Connection Corps, American Broadband Lab member.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank
We'll
you.
take one more before we move on.
Hi, I'm Dr. Marianne Jordan. Pronouns she, her, and I have a small business in the Southland in South Holland. It's a JMP Consulting Group, and we help businesses start businesses. And we also help businesses that are already established that are looking to expand. And so we help move them through that. And so every month we host a series of workshops, and we open it to the public and to our clients. And so the last 2 months we've been hosting a phenomenal facilitator to come in and talk about AI and how it supports your businesses. And so we're always looking at ways that we can share resources and services to small businesses or people who have a business but actually have not started. They've been doing this mom and pop shops at home. And so we've been really instrumental in helping a lot of businesses. So I'm excited to be here today to learn more.
Thank you. It's nice to meet you, Dr. Jordan. What's your 7-word story? You gave us what you do in your business, but what's your 7-word
Oh,
digital access story?
let's see. I had started writing because I came on late. I said digital access is key to the success and growth of any business.
See, that was 10 words, Dr. Jordan.
I
That's
know.
why we had to put the maximum count on the grant because of folks like Dr. Jordan who was gonna push the limits. I already knew. See, that's why you spoke up so we could, share in this world of examples. You know what I mean? So
All right.
it's
Thank
great
you.
to meet you, Dr. Jordan.
You
Thank
too.
you.
You too.
All
Do you
right.
have time for one more little quick one?
Sure.
Okay. Good afternoon to everybody. I'm Edie Armstrong. I'm often called Mama Edie,
Come on,
and
Mama
I'm
Edie.
I'm sorry.
I said, come on, Mama Edie. I like that.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. I'm a bilingual storyteller, percussionist, and speech and language pathologist, and I'm especially excited to be here now because I've also been working with the Little Calumet River Underground Railroad, which we finally got status as a nationally recognized historical site that's in Southeast Chicago around the Altgeld Gardens area. And it's expanding and it's going to soon be referred to as the Midwest Underground Railroad project. And so we're looking forward to funding to help expand the work that we've been doing. And also within our storytelling organization, ASHE, the Chicago Association of Black Storytellers, which is having our 25th anniversary storytelling celebration this coming Sunday. So my 7-word story, I'm with Dr. Jordan, I guess. You know, my 7-word story is that digital access allows for local and international magic. I don't know how many words that was, but that might have gotten it.
We take it, and I don't mind a little magic in this space for sure. For sure. Thanks to everyone for sharing. We're still working on
Thank
trying to
you.
get our chat enabled. So thank you for your patience there. We're going to continue to move on so that we can be respectful of everyone's time. And we're going to now move to our project overview. So part of us creating this moment is to further advance digital equity action and address the gaps through alignment with the Cook County Digital Equity Action Plan and the Cook County Office of the President, which is where me and Mauricio work, and the wonderful organization City Bureau have partnered to co-design, coordinate, and implement activities for the first ever Cook County Digital Equity Impact Small Grants Program that focuses on both digital equity and storytelling. And we were very I would say intentional around our partnership with City Bureau. I have a little bit of history with City Bureau in one of their programs called Documenters. Prior to me coming over to the county to direct this work, I worked for an organization called the Smart Chicago Collaborative, and we created a program called Documenters. And City Bureau has taken that program and it's just grown exponentially. It's global now. And so when I was thinking about this moment of digital equity and storytelling, I certainly was thinking about the power that Documenters has displayed over time and how it's grown. And we see that type of growth happening in this program. So you being here today, you're part of being pioneers in this project of digital equity and storytelling. And we hope to see you certainly as future grant awardees as we continue to grow the program. I'll turn it over to Tyra to see if she has anything to add in reference to that.
Thank you so much, Kyla. I think you really covered it there. I just want to, really reiterate what Kyla said there about, City Bureau's work. Community storytelling, community narratives have really been central to pushing the needle forward through the Documenters program, through our fellowship that trains emerging journalists, and through the information resources we create for communities that directly address their needs. And really, that's why we're excited to be partnering with the county on this project to address gaps in digital equity and access, and also create an ecosystem where storytelling is being leveraged to amplify those solutions and create the partnerships and further access and equity in the long term. So thank you all for being here. It's really a phenomenal moment and exciting.
Indeed. We're going to move into some data to demonstrate why we do the work that we do. Mauricio?
Absolutely. Thank you, Kyla. So to start off on why this work is so crucial, I'd like to highlight a few data points and some quotes we've heard from some Cook County residents about their internet connectivity. 4 out of 10 households reside in Cook County. And when we went out and spoke to community, many residents were concerned about service being too expensive, sometimes not enough quality, and they wanted a more choice of providers. Other residents weren't aware this was a problem, and they didn't know the severity either, which is why this opportunity is coming at a crucial time to help highlight the digital equity challenges and solutions and help empower the organizations to tell these stories and bring all this information out to light. Cook County is the second largest county in the United States per populace and the largest county in the state of Illinois. These figures here might surprise you, but 21% of residents in Cook County lack broadband access. 3 out of 10 have no computing device in the household, and 11% lack cellular data access. And if you see there's a little asterisk on all these figures too, and that's because the reality of these numbers is that they're most likely higher. This data comes from the American Community Survey conducted by the U.S. Census Bureau, which releases data every year. And these figures are based on only 10% of respondents. So the true numbers are likely much higher. So this grant opportunity will help to highlight a lot of this lack of access and digital equity challenges.
Which brings us to our Digital Equity Action Plan. So in the summer of 2023, a courageous group of volunteers joined with me, as well as with a couple of other partners, to do an intensive outreach and engagement process. We launched a community-based survey. We had community conversations, both in person and virtual, and we really connected in the places and spaces that had the highest amount of disconnectivity or lack connectivity in their particular municipalities. So we took the top 30 communities and really did just really intensive outreach to those communities, as well as across the county, to figure out what people thought about digital inclusion, about digital skills, about, needing confidence and being courageous and safe in the digital landscape. And we took all of that information and the data that came from those activities and co-created our Digital Equity Action Plan, which we released in October of 2023. The structure of this plan is that we have 4 cornerstones of focus: access, confidence, safety, and infrastructure. And we then presenced some solutions under each of these cornerstones that we believe will help us to address our connectivity gaps, our inclusion gaps across the county from a digital perspective. And IMPACT stands for innovative, measurable, purposeful, actionable, collaborative, and timely. Tyra is now going to talk a little bit about our project objectives.
Yep, thank you, Kyla. So there are 4 main objectives for this program. Number 1 is adding capacity. There are organizations in suburban Cook County right now doing this work, and they need resources and capacity to do that work. And continue meeting these needs. So that's number one. Number two is also piloting new programming that aligns with these impact solutions outlined in the digital equity plan that Kyla just shared with us. Number three is building partnerships. You know, this has been a theme so far in this conversation, is that that storytelling aspect coming in, building partnerships with local media, journalists, and storytellers to really capture and share content that strengthens this ecosystem. And number four, right there, is growing the ecosystem so that there are multiple collaborators across the region working towards these goals, and there's alignment on practice and collective impact that folks are working on together. So these are really the main objectives of this grant program.
Which brings us to the ecosystem. So if you've heard me talk about this work before, and if not, you'll hear it again and again as we continue down this journey together. We are building our digital equity ecosystem. When I showed up at the county in June of 2022, it became very clear pretty quickly that there were people doing things, but that they were doing them in silos, and that we weren't connected, and we weren't leveraging resources, and we weren't leveraging, you know, our design thinking, and leveraging our places or spaces or our equipment to really help to fortify our county as it pertains to digital equity. So the basis, I would say the foundation by which our plan sits on, is based on us building out and expanding, growing our digital equity ecosystem. And we know that stories can help us do that. Stories can help us raise awareness. It can help us to increase community engagement. It can help us with policy change if we need that. And it can help us to inspire innovation. Stories are so transformative. And so we know kind of what we need already to do in the digital equity space. And adding stories to that is just going to strengthen our ecosystem and add more people to our ecosystem. There are people who are on this webinar today that have never heard of this work, never heard of our plan, never heard of me, Mauricio, or Tyra. And this is an opportunity for us to continue to grow our community. Tyra said that at the top of our webinar, that this moment, despite our chat issues, this moment is a community building moment. And so as we see each other in this space, see each other now as opportunities to build bridges, to connect further with each other, just even outside of this grant opportunity. Please mute your microphone if you aren't speaking. Thank you. Let's move on to the eligibility. Mauricio. Oh, it's me. I'm sorry. It's not Mauricio. It's me. So, eligibility. Nonprofit organizations that serve suburban Cook County. That's important. This is a grant for suburban Cook County only. It does exclude Chicago, and I'll explain a little bit about why. But this grant is for nonprofit organizations that serve suburban Cook County and are tax exempt under the Section 501c3 of the Internal Revenue Code. You are eligible to apply. Newer or smaller nonprofit organizations that utilize a fiscal agent or another more established nonprofit partner, you are also eligible to apply. The Cook County and the city of Chicago have separate governance structures. And so the dollars that are being invested for this portion of the grant is specific to suburban Cook County. And that is the reason why it doesn't cover the Chicago area. We are working to figure out how we continue to fund this work for the next 10 years. So maybe when we do our next round of grant funding for this opportunity, we will be able to include Chicago in the scope. I'll take a pause here because normally there's a lot of questions that come up around this piece. Does anyone have any specific questions that I can answer about our eligibility or anything else that we've touched on so far?
I have a question.
Okay.
This is Mama Edie, and since it is specifically for, and I'm very, very glad that you you emphasized that right off the top. Since it is specifically for South Suburban Cook County, the Underground Railroad project incorporates Altgill Gardens and that kind of thing, but its reach is actually into Riverdale and other places that are actually in South suburban Cook County. So, what will determine will the official address for the organization, because the Little Calumet River Underground Railroad is a 501c3 organization. So, is it their official address that will determine eligibility?
So no, we didn't ask for address in the application. We asked for the area that you seek to serve or are serving.
Okay,
So if
I
you,
see.
as part of your application, want to
Mm-hmm.
include the pieces of the Underground Railroad that ran through the suburban area, then you would
Right.
identify those communities.
Okay, okay. So then we could potentially be eligible based on that.
Yes, you are
Okay,
eligible based
okay,
on that.
okay,
Absolutely.
okay, okay.
There was
Excellent.
another
Thank
there
you.
was another question. No problem, Mama Edie.
Oh, shoot, I lost it here. Yeah, I did. So my question would be regarding, we do have a 501c3 with the Chicago Southland Chamber Education Foundation, and we do put on educational programming, but we also have a 501c6.
Yes.
So would we need to apply through the 501c3 only, or can we go through the general Chamber of Commerce?
I think that we would consider both of
Okay.
them. I just want to double check, and I can follow back up with you, Terry, just to
Okay.
double check. We want to make sure that there's no disqualification based on the funding, because we want to make
Mhm.
sure that if we are audited by the federal government, that we're
Of
meeting
course.
all of their requirements. So
Understood.
I would double check that, but I'm pretty sure that we could consider the other C's under the 501 statute.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Any other questions before we move on? If none, I'm going to turn it over to Mauricio.
Thank you, Kyla. And I did want to mention we had some questions regarding the data. So I've included the digital equity map and our digital equity action plan in the chat if anyone would like to take a look and see various communities and see their digital equity scores. So what is the opportunity? Well, the Cook County Digital Equity Impact Small Grants Program is divided into 2 grant levels, depending on the size and scope of projects. The boost level is for new and smaller scale projects, with organizations receiving $7,500 and a total of 5 grants. And the empowerment level is for existing larger scale projects, and they'll be receiving $15,000, and there will be 10 grants at this level.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mauricio. And we called it a small grants program intentionally because these are small grants. Trust and believe. If I had a mazillion dollars, and I'm playing the lottery, y'all, so if I get it, I'm going to put it into the program. But we only have a limited amount of money, and so we're trying to be as impactful as possible and make sure that we're sharing as much as we can so that we can get this program going. Again, I have great belief that if we have a good showing of this program initially, that we will be able to get others interested in it and will be able to invest more money, and that we will not only be able to sustain this for the next 10 years, but there may be a higher grant amount that may emerge from our time together. So just letting y'all know I'm working on it, trying my best. But as y'all know, for those who are out here raising money for your own organizations, it's tough. It's been tough in this space. So we just going to keep our fingers crossed and keep working hard. I'm going to move into the next section, which is around grant types. We wanted to at least provide you some suggestions of things to think about. We know people are coming to this webinar already with things in their mind, but we just wanted to provide you some examples for those who are just trying to figure out like what's the best type of grant that they should apply for and potentially what kind of programming would qualify. So under the boost grant, a boost grant for this particular organization would be a church. They launches a pilot program to become a North Star digital skills assessment site. And for those who are unfamiliar with North Star is a digital skills platform where folks can go on for free and take tech assessments and figure out where they need improvement and be able to gain skills. So a church is going to launch a pilot program to become a North Star digital skills assessment site, and they're going to provide 2 laptop computers connected to Wi-Fi for their members to use. Members who receive certificate of completions are going to be highlighted in the Sunday bulletin and on the church website. Now, I don't know how many church people is in the crowd today, but getting your name in the church bulletin or your picture or showing up on the church website as someone who completed your digital equity skills is something that I think people would enjoy. That is sharing a story, that is expanding your growth and the opportunity and information among the congregation at the church, but also those who maybe were watching the church online if they are doing online services. So that's an opportunity under Boost, a new program. This is a church. They've not ever been engaged in digital equity work before, but know that because they have an active audience of church members, they believe that they can add something, contribute to this space. An example of an empowerment grant would be a partnership between a local nonprofit that already has a computer lab. They're already currently hosting digital skills classes, and then they connect with their local community news organization, and they collaborate on publishing one success story from the lab monthly. And that is, again, expanding the capacity of the organization that has the computer labs. That's also introducing a new line of storytelling for that local news organization around digital equity. And that would be a great partnership and something that would qualify for the empowerment grant level. I put in the corner of the slide that partnerships are key. We know that we can't do this work by ourselves, and sometimes you just need a good partner, a thought partner, someone. Maybe you got the idea and they got the space. Maybe they have the skill set and you got the people. So partnerships are really key to I believe submitting successful projects for consideration. It's not a requirement, so we don't have a slot on the application for partners to be named, but certainly you have plenty of room in your 4,000 characters in some of those questions to be able to identify any partners if you feel like that would add value to your project. I will take questions if anyone has them or if there's any in the chat that I can answer. Okay, we're going to keep moving. So we're going to go next to our application review and our scoring. So application details, Tyra.
Thank you, Kyla. So from top to bottom, there are 15 questions total in this application. In a few slides, we'll go through page by page of those questions, but laying that out there. And really throughout this process, we were thinking of, a lot of times applying for a grant is kind of like a necessary evil. So what can we do to make this equitable and make it as streamlined as possible for folks applying? So we really were intentional about that. So 15 questions. And one of those questions is at the very end, just your feedback on this application, scoring from agree to strongly disagree, the ease of applying. And I just want to say, we really hope that you are honest and thoughtful with those responses, because this is a learning process for all of us. And we want to make sure this grant is responding to the need in the right way. And there are 4 questions that are scored, and these questions each are weighted about at 25 points, and we'll be scoring them based on how they align with the impact objectives. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 letters there for impact around infrastructure, around timeliness, and as well as that, towards the end, there will be an optional 3-minute video. So this is optional, it's not required, but it is highly encouraged. You'll see it later on in the presentation, but this will be a space to just take a video on your phone. It doesn't have to be professionally produced, but is a chance to tell your story in your words in a way that can't always be captured in grant language. So yeah, we're really excited to see your faces in these applications and hear your stories.
Absolutely. And so again, the 3-minute video is not a requirement, but we would love to hear from your voice, to know who you are and to hear your story and why you believe this opportunity is one that's going to help us to advance digital equity and help us to be able to tell more stories. So we are hoping that we get a video with every application. Again, it's not required, it's optional, but we would love to see you for sure. We're going to move on into the application itself. Mauricio.
So when you first go to apply, you'll see this first page. And the first page gives an overview of the grant program, how this aligns with our Digital Equity Action Plan that I've also included in the chat, and how it's funded by the American Rescue Plan Act, or ARPA. It lists the program objectives, the eligibility, the opportunity with the 2 grant levels, and how the questions will be scored. And then please remember, applications are due by 5 p.m. Central Standard Time on Friday, November 15th. And the application is live now, and I could include that link in the chat as well.
Thank you, Mauricio. So once you scroll down, so the application is all on one page. It doesn't, advance, or there's no buttons for you to have to push outside of submit when you're done entering in all your information. So if you scroll down after that top block part, this is the first 3 questions, just the name of your organization, your organization's website, and the name of the organizational contact, whoever is going to be responsible for submitting the application. We would like to know, who that person is and what their name is. So very simple. And then number 4 is the email of the organizational contact. We only want one name and one organizational contact to keep things kind of streamlined. The question, number 5, is, are you a nonprofit organization? Yes, no, or unsure. And it's okay if you're unsure. Like if you feel like you got a special situation and we maybe need to inquire after we review your application, we'll do that. So if you're not sure, just mark unsure. And then number 6, what suburban Cook County community or communities do you serve or want to serve? That was a question earlier for folks who are serving projects that may cover both Chicago and the suburban area. We want to know what community you specifically are serving or want to serve. It doesn't mean that you have to be serving them now, but if you have a desire to serve in that area and have an idea, we want to know about it. Next up is Tyra.
Thank you, Kyla. So question 7, describe your organization's role in advancing digital equity in Cook County. This is one of those scored questions I mentioned earlier. This is a space to really explain how your organization and your work is in alignment with the Digital Equity Action Plan and those objectives that we outlined earlier at the top, those 4 main objectives. So this is a chance in up to 4,000 characters to describe that, and just referring to some of the previous slides in this deck around the objectives and around the specific recommendations and solutions in the Digital Equity Action Plan can really help guide your response here. And then question 8 is pretty simple. Which of the 2 small grants you are applying for?
I have a quick question, if you don't mind. Excuse me, I'm not really seeing the shared screen. Am I the only one who's not able to see it? I'm working on a new device, so it can be my unfamiliarity with this device.
Can everyone else see the screens?
Yeah, I can see it.
I see it.
Okay, thank you. It's just me then. Thank you.
But
I'm getting the information, and I know that the forms and the documents that you're referring to are part of the application. So I'm just jotting down notes, and I'll just look at the form when I go to it.
For sure. Mama Edie, after this webinar, we're going to place this on the Cook County website, Cook County Digital Equity webpage on the website. You will also get an email from me with this deck attached. So you'll have this for reference.
Okay, thank you.
So next is select which of the 4 digital equity cornerstones best describes your proposed project and what it will address. So access, confidence, safety, and infrastructure. We have the link to the Cook County Digital Equity Action Plan in this question, so you'll be able to click on it and look at it while you're doing your application, or certainly Mauricio has placed it in the chat so you can look at it on your own. But we want to know which one, and you may cover all of them. Your project may cover all of them, but we want to know just the best one you think that best describes your project, and you can select it here. The next question after that, question number 10, is which impact solution best aligns with your proposed project? Remember, I said at the top of this webinar that we have 4 cornerstones, and then each of the cornerstones has 3 impact solutions that we have recommended that we believe if we accomplish it, we will be able to advance digital equity in Cook County. And so we want you to identify which impact solution best aligns with your proposed project. Again, the purpose of this grant is really to amplify our digital equity action plan and add storytelling to it. So we want to make sure that we're capturing the projects in that context. So not questions 9 and 10 are specifically around alignment with the digital equity action plan.
So I'm sorry, I have one more I have one more question.
No
So
worries.
when you mentioned, I know these days storytelling has become very popular, and even actors have been switching over to storytelling. Businesses are using the term storytelling, and storytelling has expanded in its application in so many different directions these days. I'm just trying to be clear that when you're talking about adding storytelling to this, do you mean, would you please explain specifically exactly what you mean by adding storytelling to this effort?
So storytelling, that's a great question. Thank you, Mama Edie, for asking it. I would say, and I certainly look to my partners at City Bureau to add some color and context to this conversation. Storytelling can be many things. Storytelling can be media. Storytelling can be press. Storytelling could be new media opportunity like podcasting. Storytelling could be social media, those little reels and the tiki-takis. And my son's gonna get me for calling it tiki-taki, but that's what it is. I've learned so much from watching 30-second reels, of information sharing. Then there's also, the oral tradition of storytelling, poetry, the written word. Storytelling can show up in many different ways. What we are trying to do is highlight all of the opportunities that we can based on our grant budget of how we can tell these stories around digital equity better. Sometimes the story is about people. Sometimes the story is about process. Sometimes the story is about the program. Sometimes the story is just around you and how you got into this space and why you are passionate about ensuring that everyone is able to have digital opportunity. Maybe your story is around the fact that maybe you don't have all the skills that you need, and maybe there was some feelings around that, and you want to be more bold and courageous for others. So there's plenty of opportunity for us to define what storytelling is. And once we select our first round of grantees, we're going to, do a lot of design thinking to create that. And that's the reason why we didn't include like a definition for it in the application, because we wanted to understand what you, the applicants, believe storytelling is. What is your version of storytelling for consideration? Because it's going to look very different depending upon the angle and the organization and the person.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
No worries. So the next portion of our application, questions 11 and 12, both are scored at 25 points each. Again, we only have 4 scored questions in this entire application. No, question number 11 is describe your organization's proposed project to advance one or more of Cook County's digital equity cornerstones. So in the previous question, question 10, you get to identify which cornerstone you are aligning with, which impact solution you are aligning with. And then in question 11, you get to kind of narrate that to us around what your project is and how it aligns and how does it advance one of the cornerstones and one of the one of the objectives, excuse me. And then question 12 is explain how storytelling will be integrated into your project, to Mama Edie's question. Describe how you envision including personal narratives or community stories to highlight the impact of your project and promote digital equity awareness. Tyra, any comments to add to number 12?
Yeah, I would just re-up what you said earlier, Kyla and Mama Edie. You know, the beauty of this is that it is broad, how we consider storytelling here. And what we're really just looking for is how grantees are planning to incorporate that into their project. So it's really open-ended here. If it feels like an off-the-wall idea or maybe quote unquote too creative, I think that's on the right track. You know, we want people to consider unexpected ways of incorporating storytelling as well. And like as Kyla mentioned, like from influencers to zines to so many different kinds of information tools, resources that are available. Really consider the whole gamut when looking at this question. And I think the main guiding principle here is just how is it a focal point or really baked into the project itself when you're addressing these digital equity needs.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tyra. Which moves us into question 13, which is describe how your organizations, and this is the last scored question, describe how your organization's proposed project will help build vibrant, sustainable, and inclusive communities where people want to live, learn, work, and play. We are defining inclusive communities as environments that include diversity, equity, and accessibility, ensuring that every individual, regardless of background or ability, has equal opportunities to engage, contribute, and flourish. So that is Cook County's promise to community that we are going to do our work in an equitable way. All of our policy, all of our decision making, all of our practice, our initiatives, our grant programming is built and structured to support equitable opportunity and access across Cook County. So we want to know how your project helps us to further our mission so that we can be equitable together. And then question 14 is the one that's not required. It's the optional requirement. This is where you drop your link for your video if you're going to do one. Want to just re-emphasize what Tyra stated earlier in the webinar. This does not have to be professional quality or edited. You don't have to do all the bells or the whistles. You can just get in front of your cell phone, tape it in landscape mode, please, and talk to us about your project, talk to us about you, whatever you would like for the panel to see and to hear directly from your mouth, your words. This is the time to be able to do that. Tyra, anything else to add?
Yeah, I'll just add along to that. You know, you'll see in the application that you have multiple different ways of uploading the video. Really, that's important is that we have access to view it. Yeah, like Kyla said, really creativity is being celebrated in this application in a lot of different spaces. And so we really hope you're able to use this opportunity to get creative. And really, this is kind of a first step in starting to share content and stories with each other about digital equity. So consider this also kind of a training ground and a source of inspiration for yourself while you're working on the application.
I love that, Tyra. Thank you. Again,
One,
we
one
are
note of feedback here, just to, because I know we are creating this community. Video can be intimidating for a lot of people. So just kind of wanted to articulate that in case anybody else on the line is a little worried about the video. We'll be an applicant ourselves. I do think it's interesting to think about, you seem to talk about us presenting ourselves. Would you rather like we give voice to the people who maybe would be impacted by the project, or do you picture these videos more as the applier speaking directly to camera? Do you understand the question?
Yeah, I do understand the question. Thank you, Ryan, for asking the question. And that's why we made this 14 optional, because if you don't want to get in front of a video and record yourself, or tell a story in the way that you want to tell it, that is totally fine with us. Again, the only thing that's being scored are the 4 questions that are in the application. We would like you to come in this video, to your question, Ryan, in the way that will help us to understand kind of the heart of your project. So if the heart of your project is really based on presenting more stories of the people, or maybe you feel like you're part of a community or a neighborhood that has a really interesting story and has not really gotten its just desserts in kind of the public way, then maybe presenting the story through the eyes of that community is the lens. We really would like for you to capture your project in your voice, and depending upon who you are, you very well may be part of that community or part of that project, and your voice may be the most relevant to tell the story. So we'll leave that up to the applicants to determine how they would like to present. We didn't want to put any too many boundaries on this. Again, to Tyra's point, this is our first time out the gate, and we want to be as open and as inclusive as possible. Did that answer your question, Ryan? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it did. Thanks so much.
Okay, perfect. And then we're going to move on. If there's no more questions around these particular questions from the application, we're going to move to our last question in the application. Mauricio, take it away.
Yeah, and so last but not least, we would like to know how you would rate the ease of navigating the grant application process. You'll have 5 options ranging from very difficult to very easy, and the answers to this question will help us in future opportunities and to help improve our application process.
Thanks, Mauricio. So here's some key dates for y'all to be aware of. We did release the application on last Friday, the 11th of October. The applications are due by 5 p.m. on November the 15th of 24. We have an application link, a big button on our website that you can apply directly there. You can capture this link from the PowerPoint once we send it over and get to the application. But we want the application to be submitted no later than November 15th at 2024 at 5 p.m. The awardees, this is a very quick turnaround. We're not going to be wasting a lot of time here. So the panel is going to make their decision, and we are going to notify awardees by November 30th of 2024. And then we're going to do some type of announcement. We don't know yet what the announcement is going to be, but we know that we're going to schedule something special to highlight this moment in time for this grant opportunity. And we know that as people watch this webinar or, ruminate around what you've heard today, that there may be other questions. So we will have an FAQ document that we will release every Friday until the week before the grant is due. And you can review those FAQs to get an idea. There may be a question there that you had yourself and someone, sent it in. We have our email address where you can send in your questions. We will not respond to your questions via email. We will respond to your questions on the FAQ document. And that's so that we are being fair and that everyone receives access to the same information. And I think we've reached the end of our time together as far as the webinar is concerned. Thank you for your time and your attention. Again, you will get a copy of this webinar if you register to attend it. This is all of our contact information and our socials. We do have social media specifically for Cook County Digital Equity. So if you want more information about what we're doing or how to get involved, make sure that you follow us there. I will stop sharing so I can see all of your wonderful faces. We do have time for a few more questions if people have them.
I wanted to ask a question about the budget. I didn't see anything about how, what is allowable for expenses on the budget.
Yes, thank you. Great question. The budget, and it's in the application materials, but I will share with you that we intentionally did not include the budget because we will work on the budget post award. Once we've selected the programs and the organizations, we then will work with you on your budget to ensure that you have the things that you need and make suggestions on how you get those things done.
Awesome. Thank you.
We thought
Kyla,
that would be equitable.
Kyla, we had 2 questions in the chat.
Okay.
Alexandra Foreman says, considering applying for empowerment, what is the operational definition of existing? What if it's a proposed project, but they haven't implemented?
So existing to me would be that you're already doing this work. You're already a digital equity champion, or you're already a storytelling or news, entity champion, meaning like that you didn't come to this webinar day one fresh and you're like, tomorrow I'm going to go and partner with this organization to stand up this program. So this is for people who are already in the worlds that they exist in, and your idea may be new, but you aren't new to the work. And also, will there be a place to add collaborators and or their EIN on the application? We only need the lead organization to be the lead applicant. Just reference any partners that you're including in your project description. You got 4,000 characters, over 4 questions. So find a way to get all your partners in there. We don't need their contact information. We would just like to know the organization's name, and if you want to share any information that you think would be relevant around them, because we use our internet around here. So if you say City Bureau is our partner, per chance, we could Google City Bureau, you know what I mean? So we didn't want to have you have to do any additional work. Just name your partners if you have one, and we will inquire and review accordingly. I hope that answered your questions, Alexandria. Did someone else have a question?
Yes.
One quick note on the bit.ly link. It's lowercase, so it's bit.ly / digital equity impact application. So if anybody put in the uppercase, like it was listed on the slide, it's all lowercase. Just a random note in case others catch that.
Yes, and it's hyperlinked. Thanks, Ryan. It's hyperlinked on the application. So on the slide deck. So when we send it out, people can go directly from there.
Perfect.
And I have a quick question too, with our story. So I'm working out of 2 different organizations, and so we'll figure out how it'll all come together. But looking at the storytelling organization, we also are a 501c3 entity, and I would not by any means consider us to be digital champions. However, we do have a website. Does that therefore qualify us as an empowerment? For the empowerment category?
From what you've shared, Mama Edie, about your organization, it seems like you are seasoned in the storytelling space. So you would qualify as an existing entity, and you're adding a digital equity lens to your area of focus.
Okay. Thank you. That's very helpful. Okay.
So again, we're defining existing as you are existing, doing your thing, and you've been doing your thing, whatever your thing is. That today is just not the first day that you're starting to do your thing.
Right.
And there'll be a space for that. There'll be a space for that. It's coming. 2026, y'all. 2026 is the space to do things.
Because we've been doing our thing like for 25 years, but not with a big focus on digital access and activity and what have you. But we have been using, digital technology. So that's fine. You got me. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions before we go ahead and end, because we are running 2 minutes over? If nothing else, on behalf of the team at Cook County, as well as the team at City Bureau, we're thankful that you joined us today for this webinar. This has been a blast for us to see all of you wonderful faces and hear a little bit about your organizations. We look forward to reviewing your applications for those who are moving forward in submission. And thank you again for spending your Thursday afternoon with us.